I look ridiculous, but welcome to Spooky Fraggle-Ween or Fraggle Rock Ween Halloween Down in the Rock. So the original Fraggle Rock series doesn't really have like a spooky Halloween episode, but they do have some that are a little bit more eerie. So I'm going to focus on one of those today. And the one I'm going to focus on today is Wembley and the Mean Genie. That's from season 3. So if you have not seen Fraggle Rock, I did do a more in-depth video previously if you want to go watch that. But all you really need to know is that the Fraggles are Muppet creatures that live down in this series of caves, and those caves are connected to our world, specifically to a workshop with a guy named Doc and his trusty dog named Sprocket. And it's also connected to this alternate world, basically, where these creatures called the Gorgs live and they maintain an old castle and a garden. And then alongside the Fraggles down in the caves, they have doozers. They're these little guys who spend their lives building construction and working. Okay, this is editing me jumping in, so I apologize for the change in the mic quality. But this got copyrighted, the video, so I'm having to cut a lot of the clips shorter, and so I might have to also like jump in and add further commentary, so I apologize if it's kind of like spliced up and annoying to watch, but I'm trying to have this post. I'm really frustrated with this going on, so we'll see. So we're going to start in Doc's workshop at the beginning of this episode. So he is practicing the stand-up comedy bit that he's going to perform later with Sprocket. Now, if you, the viewer, are not aware, Sprocket is like a highly intelligent, sentient dog. Like, this guy can understand, he can sign, he's always trying to explain shit to Doc because Doc gaslights him and doesn't believe him. So in this comedy routine, Doc does a joke where he pretends that Sprocket is just like any old dog, which is incredibly insulting. So one of the jokes, like, he asks Sprocket what the opposite of smooth is, and Sprocket goes,
"Now, Sprocket, what is the opposite of smooth?" "That's right, rough."
"Woof," like rough. It's a rough joke. "And what's the top part of a house?" "Woof." Are you getting it? Is it clicking? Is that funny to you? It's not funny to Sprocket, and it's not funny to me either. It's insulting. So after that comedy routine where Sprocket is used purely for entertainment at his expense, he's angry and he lets Doc know that he's not having it. You can't just use Sprocket as your little circus animal. And then Doc has the audacity to be like, "What? Huh? What'd be wrong with you?
What's bothering you, Sprocket? Do you want to talk to me about?
Do you want to talk?" It's... Anyways, down in the rock, Gobo and Red Fraggle appear to have discovered this neat little tool that Wembley is just completely gobsmacked over.
"Wow, Gobo, that's really incredible! Yeah. What is it?"
And they explain to him it's a two-sided broom, so it's like the best of its kind because it can sweep the ceiling and it can sweep the floor at the same time.
Oh boy, I wish I could find something special like that.
It sounds like an ad placement. It sounds like a gimmick. But it's not just an ad, because it is a segue into Wembley. Under the encouragement of Red Fraggle, he starts scouring the cave to try to find something cool himself, because he feels like he never really gets to show off any of the cool things. Wembley, he's like the younger of the Fraggles, the more naive, and he just wants to fit in. And Gobo, he is an explorer, so he gets to go discover cool places all the time. And Red Fraggle, she's also pretty adventurous and competitive, so she finds cool things too. So yeah, he's feeling left out, and as he's scanning, he comes across something truly magnificent.
Look, Gobo, look what I found!
Something so out of this world.
It's beautiful!
It's a rock.
It's a rock. But come on, throw the little guy a bone. Like, a rock is still a rock, and a rock rocks.
Rock.
So Wembley's even more determined to find something now, so he gets extra excited over this new discovery, and he calls Gobo over. He's like, "You've got to see this, you've got to see this," and this time it is a mushroom. So Gobo shoots him down again, and he basically threatens him. He's like, "Don't you dare call me over here if it's not something cool and worthwhile."
So just don't call me unless it's really something, okay?
Which Gobo only found a stupid broom, like a stupid gimmick broom, so it's kind of rich coming from him. Poor little Wembley, he's off again, and he won't have to be poor for long though, because he pretty much immediately spots this mysterious bottle.
Is an old bottle special?
An old bottle's just an old bottle.
And Gobo, he tells him it's nothing, it's just an old bottle again. But Wembley, he doesn't buy it this time. I mean, it's really old, and it's got like green fog in it and shit.
If I clean this up, Gobo would think it was special.
Clearly this is something special. So he takes it for himself and he's going to try to prove it to Gobo that it's cool. And I love the way his little hands are like holding it and cleaning it. So yeah, as Wembley is cleaning it up, he noticed it has some picture writing on it. I'm not sure exactly what language system the Fraggles have. I mean, like historically, I don't really know, but it seems like Wembley he is familiar with the picture writing, and it doesn't really matter. So Wembley discovers a second too late as he's cleaning it that it says not to rub the bottle. And if you've ever not really read like a product label clearly and thoroughly before using it, well, at least me, I know the fear of God when when you do that. And that looks to be happening to Wembley in this scene. And as a side note, this is kind of like specific, but I don't know how people on cleaning talk if you are familiar with that, both like body cleaning and like house like floor cleaning. They're just like mixing all kind of ingredients and cleaning products together like potions, and I don't know how they're not more afraid of this. They don't have fear like Wembley for some reason. So suddenly out of the fog in comes this like punk rocker genie out of the bottle. And he's out and he's really relieved to be out because he's like, it's really cramped in that bottle. And Wembley's standing there and he's like, who the hell are you?
How much did you pay for your first house?
Who the hell are you?
Who are you?
So immediately upon meeting Wembley, the genie starts making fun of him.
Ooh, and you're a genius. Wow.
He does like the classic handshake bit. You know the one.
Put her there, pal.
Oh,
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
And little naive Wembley, he's out of his element here. But then Wembley, he suddenly remembers, he's like, Fraggles are supposed to get some wishes out of this whole shebang. So he asks about it.
Oh, I'm Wembley Fraggle. When do I get my wishes?
So Wembley asks him about it, and the genie starts playing up some waterworks. He's crying, and he's like, what do I get out of this life but wishes? When do I get, like, my wishes?
I get corked up in this rotten bottle for ages.
Oh.
It's a lousy job.
Besides just being cooped up in this little old bottle all the time. And of course, Wembley, he's a sweethearted little dude, and the genie is laying it on pretty thick with how lousy the whole job is. And so Wembley, he's feeling bad, and he's like, "That's terrible, terrible."
Sure, that's terrible. That's terrible.
And the genie, he's like,
You bet your green fuzzy face it is.
see, he's a little aggressive towards little Wembley. Like, back off, leave him alone. I'll give it to Wembley though. He tries one last time, and he's like, "Well, couldn't you wait for the next dumb Fraggle guy to come along before you go on a no wishes strike?"
But wouldn't you consider, like, starting with maybe the next guy?
And in Wembley fashion, he backs down immediately when that's pushed back upon.
You're not asking for wishes now, are you?
No, of course not.
Now, while he's not going to get his wishes, the genie does promise him some fun and magic, and Wembley, he's not going to turn down a fun time.
You and me, we're gonna have some fun. And first, a little magic.
And the genie's also going to teach Wembley how to stick up for himself. Also, just wanted to say, in case you're not real familiar, Wembley, he is like a major people pleaser, and he wembles a lot. Like, he constantly goes back and forth and can't really make his mind up. And so he's easy to manipulate, and he doesn't really stick up for himself or wish things for himself. So the genie, I suppose, is going to teach him how to do so while having some fun. And we'll see what his fun entails. So the genie, he grabs Wembley, he pulls him through this rock because magic, and he pulls him right into the path of Gobo and Red Fraggle coming back with all the cool stuff that they gathered. And they witness Wembley walking through the wall, and he introduces them to the genie.
Hey, Gobo, Red, did you see me? I just walked through a wall!
So yeah, Wembley and the genie, they pop right out of that wall, right into the path of Gobo and Red, and Gobo and them are like, wow, and of course they're amazed, and they're like, how did you do that? How'd you walk through that wall? And of course, they're like, well, that's cool. So Gobo immediately asks for a wish, and Wembley has to explain. He's like, this genie, he does not give out wishes. It's actually offensive to ask that, but he can do some magic.
Well, what did you wish for so far? Well, he doesn't give out wishes anymore.
And so the genie does this magic trick where he pulls up the double-sided broom and all the other cool stuff that they found, and he like slams it back to the floor and breaks it. Of course, Gobo is not happy with this, and it just feels like a bad sign and mean-spirited, obviously. So of course Gobo and Red are like, what the hell? And the genie is like, whatever, let's go somewhere where the people have humor. And so he takes Wembley and they run off again. But Wembley is whisked away again from his friends, and Gobo is left behind looking for his postcard from his Uncle Matt, which is with the stuff he was holding when he came back.
I had a postcard from my Uncle Traveling Matt. Do you see it anywhere?
As a side note, the postcards are from his uncle who travels outside in like the human world, and he sends back those messages. So Red and Gobo, they end up getting distracted by the bottle, and they decide that they're going to go look up genie lore in the Fraggle encyclopedia.
Maybe we should look it up in Encyclopedia Fraglia.
Yeah, let's go.
So they're reading the encyclopedia, and they get to the genie part, and they discover that he's a bad genie. He's bad news, and he's worse than one could even imagine. I mean, they only mention the good things about him mostly, not even the things that are unspeakable. So yeah, Red, she reads off his good deeds, which include lying, stealing, cheating, breaking things.
What are his good deeds?
Those are his good deeds.
Huh?
And so they're like, we've got to go warn Wembley. And I really like the way Gobo says it, but I'm not going to try to imitate it here because it would just make you cringe a little bit in your seat. But just know, I really, really like it.
We better go warn Wembley.
So you get a beautiful cutaway where we see the little doozers making their beautiful constructions, building as they do, and the genie and the Wembley are sitting together.
I love the little people.
And Wembley's like, well, maybe I should get, on back to my friends now. Because Wembley knows deep down in his heart the he's being pretty mean, and Wembley's going to be a bad friend if he doesn't go back and try and help Gobo clean up the mess and everything. So he's kind of wondering out loud. And now remember, the genie, he's trying to get Wembley to stick up for himself, or at least that's what he's saying anyways. And so he's like, Wembley, is that really what you want to do? Do you really want to go back and help someone clean up? And Wembley's like, well, I guess not. He pressures him a little, and of course Wembley, he folds.
Oh, no, not really.
Well, then don't do it. Let's keep having fun.
Oh.
And he looks so nervous with his little hands. Gobo runs in suddenly, and he's like, get away from that genie. And I really like the background Fraggle, who's watching the whole drama play out, and he's like,
Wembley, you better stay away from that genie.
So yeah, Gobo, he runs in, and he's like, stay away from that genie. And he basically tells Wembley, he's like, according to the Fraglia encyclopedia, he's no good. So yeah, Gobo, he starts listing off all the things that the genie does, and he's like, there's things so bad I cannot even mention it. And I'm like, what could it be? Is it murder, like credit card fraud?
He steals, he cheats, and things I can't even mention.
So yeah, Gobo tells Wembley to not listen to the genie because the genie is going to get him in trouble. And then Gobo's like, I think he even stole my postcard from Uncle Matt.
I think he even stole my postcard.
And Wembley, he gasps and he's shocked, obviously, and he's just feeling even more conflicted. And then the genie adds on to that, and he's like, well, does Gobo always tell you what to do? And kind of pits him against Gobo, and now he's just even more conflicted. So the genie, he starts insulting Gobo, and he's using Wembley's insecurities against him to manipulate him to not listen to Gooby, as he calls Gobo.
This Goo here.
Gobo.
Would you say a lot of times he tells you what to do?
Well, yeah, all the time.
And he keeps pushing for Wembley to speak up for himself, and then he also appeals to them both being green. This has nothing to do with the episode, really, but I have such a hard time picturing Wembley as being green. Like, he looks completely yellow to me, and is that supposed to be that way? Is that like a joke? I know some people maybe do see him as green, but he looks very yellow to me. Doesn't matter. Wembley succumbs to the pressure, and he leaves with the genie, and Gobo chases after him, smack into a wall. So yeah, the genie, he's with Wembley, and he's hyping him up from leaving his friend. He's like, good on you. And Wembley's like, yeah. And of course, you would never steal the postcard. You're a good guy. You're a stand-up guy. And then the genie goes to do the handshake trick again on Wembley. The little naive guy, he can't help but fall for it again.
Oh.
Hey, put it there.
Oh.
And that's when Wembley sees the postcard right there on the genie's person.
Wait a second. What's that in your shirt?
How'd this get here?
So the genie, he ends up reading the postcard, and Matt is describing silly creatures. Interjection, silly creatures are what the Fraggles call humans. So yeah, he sees the silly creatures behind bars because he's at a zoo, so they look locked up. And he's like, being weird isn't a crime. These silly creatures shouldn't be locked up.
These four silly creatures, even little ones, are kept behind bars.
And Matt, he also is like, I demand to know who has locked up these silly creatures. And he demands that, and he turns around and he's got a big ass elephant coming his way.
And then he hears like a loud noise behind him, and he turns around and sees a giant elephant. And he flies up to the bars, and he's like pleading to be released.
Stand up for what you believe in. Please let me in there.
To not be crushed, and he's like, please. I love how high up his like feet appear to be on the ground. That guy is flying. He is floating for sure.
So Wembley, he is starting to get a little bit suspicious, after hearing from Gobo and everything like that. And so he goes to ask the genie, and he's like, please don't be mad, but did you steal the postcard?
And the genie is manipulating Wembley.
Did you steal that from Gobo?
Steal!
He spots Boober out in the distance washing his laundry, and he's wanting to cause some trouble. A new target has just been unlocked for him. And so the genie, he's watching him do the laundry, and he's like, what's he hanging up ghosts for? And Wembley has to explain that they're bed sheets, actually. Little Wembley, he innocently offers up this insider info on Boober, saying Boober would be scared to death if those were actually ghosts.
If those were ghosts, Boober would be scared to death.
And we can see on the genie's Muppet face that this is perfect insider info, and also because he says so. And he does this magic trick where he makes the bed sheets into ghosts, and he's making eerie noises. And so Boober, he's screaming, he's running around.
Ghosts!
And you can see why I chose this episode. There's some ghosts in here. It's a little bit spooky. Now Wembley, he's not completely without agency in this whole thing, because he does join in a little bit with a little boogie boogie. Or booga booga. So the bed sheets with the ghosts, they're chasing after Boober, and they run into the other Fraggles, and they're all freaked out. And so Gobo calls for order, and he's telling them it's all the work of the mean genie. And so Boober, he feels so betrayed by this, and he's surprised by Wembley, and he's like, I don't know who your big green friend is.
Very funny, Wembley. I don't know who your big green friend is, but I'm surprised at you.
But you just gave me some potential psychological trauma because of this betrayal of my trust.
Or broken my tail. To mention the psychological effects around trust.
And he's listing all of the other possible like bad effects of this. Poor little Wembley, he's just taking it all in, and he's wondering how it got to this point.
What the hell are you talking about?
He's like, I'm just trying to remember. But the genie whisks Wembley off again, and Gobo, he's like, all right, we've got to take care of this guy. No more tricks. And back in Gobo and Wembley's cave room, Wembley, he's feeling downtrodden. He's like, why couldn't you just give me wishes?
I'm laughing, but I'm not having that much fun, and everybody's mad at us.
You're doing too much. And the genie picks up Gobo's guitar because he's like, I'm going to play you a song to like explain this all.
The only way to learn to stand up for yourself is to listen to me. Now look, here's a guitar.
Right at that moment, Gobo runs back in, and he's like, no, you don't, you son of a...
Oh,
We're gonna put you back in that bottle.
Yeah!
The genie, he doesn't care one bit, though, and he calls Gobo a carrot face to his face.
And what are you gonna do if I don't, carrot face?
And the Fraggles are like, and they threaten to shove him back in that bottle where he came from. Wembley, he's so distraught, and he's nervous, and he's listening to the genie, and we see he's just so nervous, his little hands. And then the genie breaks Gobo's guitar like one string at a time, just to add further insult to injury.
I'm never going back, understand? Never!
Oh, no.
And so Gobo, he's just like left in shock and horror. He can't even move for a second. And then Boober's like, well, I don't want to blame you, Wembley, but this is your fault.
Oh, gosh, Wembley, I don't want to blame you, but this is your fault.
And Wembley's little noise is so pitiful. But Wembley, he's like, don't worry, I'll think of something to get him back into the bottle.
I'll think of something.
So Wembley, he goes back outside and he finds the genie actually like painting his face on the wall and like graffiti, and he's drinking beer. And Wembley's like, hey, you shouldn't be drinking that.
Hey, Big Nose, want some radish beer?
No, and you shouldn't be drinking that stuff either.
And this is all kind of starting to look like a dare campaign. And so he really stands up for himself this time.
Well, my name's Wembley, and you're not half as tough as you think you are.
But yeah, so he stands up to him, and the genie is like, I'm actually even tougher and meaner than you think. And so Wembley, he starts goading him on, and he's like, oh yeah, well, I bet you can't lift that boulder.
Oh yeah? Well, I bet you can't lift that boulder over there.
So the genie, he's like lifting the boulder to prove he can do it, and Gobo hands Wembley the little bottle as he's doing it.
Wembley, here.
And so Wembley, he keeps egging him on, and then he's like, well, you know what? I bet you couldn't do something really spectacular.
Okay, well, I bet you couldn't do something really spectacular, like jump through my fingers.
Like jump through my fingers. And then the camera cut to his little hands doing that. God, this scene killed me. So yeah, Genie, he jumps right through those little fingers back into the bottle, and the day is saved, right?
No problem.
No, it's not. Wembley, he's very proud of himself. But then as Gobo runs away to tell the rest of the Fraggles about this, that he saved the day, he sees the genie crying in the bottle again.
Hey, I caught you, and now we're gonna bury you forever. You look so small and helpless in there.
And that's really all it takes for all of this work to be undone.
And little Wembley, he's seeing the genie crying, and so he's thinking to himself, and he's like, if I don't let you out, I'll know that I buried you forever and ever. And how would he live with himself knowing that he put the genie 6 foot under in a little tiny bottle for all of eternity?
And he talks himself into letting the genie out as long as he promises to go away and stop the mean jokes.
But I'll let you out, but you have to promise to go far away from here, all right?
So he lets the genie out, and immediately spooky, foreboding music starts to play, and he's like, thanks for nothing.
Oh, thanks for nothing!
And so Wembley, who always wants to see the good in others, and he is naive because of it, he's like,
Gee, I hope I did the right thing.
Gee, I really hope I did the right thing. I mean, technically it was a nice thing to do in theory, but yeah, we're gonna see some shit go down. As Boober says, I don't want to blame you, but it is your fault. Now back in Doc's workshop, Sprocky, he's still fighting for his life over these stupid jokes that Doc is trying to make at his expense. So yeah, they're fighting, and then in the Rock, all the Fraggles are celebrating Wembley's big win. And I'm sure Wembley is just like a bundle of nerves and anxiety and stomach aches because that genie is not in that bottle.
Tell him how you captured the genie.
Well, I'd just like to hurry up and bury this bottle.
So Wembley, he's like, yeah, I don't really want to recount my win. I just want to dispose of this bottle, okay? I just want to go.
And so Boober, we hear his voice pipe up also, and he's like, I never even got to see it, Wembley. So he's really wanting to see that bottle, and Wembley, he's Wembley, and he's not having it.
Do you think you could show it to me before you bury it?
It's nothing special.
Please,
It's just an old bottle.
And Boober and all of them, though, they're like trying to see the bottle, and they're like, let us see it. And Wembley, he's like desperately holding on to it. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll just go dispose of it.
And Wembley, he's like, please, it's not even that special of a bottle. It's nothing. And Gobo's like, well, of course it is. It's the most special bottle we've ever seen. And they all start coming up on Wembley and scrambling to grab it.
No, please. No.
Come on.
And they're like, "Rrr," like a mob. And so Gobo kind of grabs it, and Wembley ends up dropping it, and it shatters on the floor.
Oh, no.
And so Gobo thinks that he actually like killed the genie for a hot minute there.
I killed the genie.
Really more so like a hot second. But rather than lie and like Gobo believe that he killed the genie, Wembley comes clean and he tells them that he let the guy out.
And also, as Wembley is explaining that the genie was not actually in the bottle, Gobo, he's like, well, sure it is. Like, I saw you put him in the bottle. And Wembley's like, well, that is a good point, but I just found that kind of funny.
No, you didn't, Gobo. But let him out again.
You did.
But it's all cool because he did promise the genie to, like, please go away and don't do any more tricks.
What? He won't bother us again. I made him promise to go far, far away from here.
And no one would walk back a promise like that. But before he can even really finish the sentiment, the genie, he pops back in with a bang and the fog, and he's back here again. He's back at it. All the Fraggles, they are scared to see him, and he's like, I wouldn't leave the rock because I know you would all miss me so much.
Knowing how much you'd all miss me, right? What?
And they're like, no! So because of that, he puts them all under his spell. And they're all his subjects, basically, and he's their overlord. And then there's this really unsettling sequence with a pretty good rock song, in my opinion, but he has them like all under his control and he's making them sing along with him.
But do you want it? No! Get out of my way!
And a lot of the lyrics are about getting free, and once you do get free, people get angry with you. They get mad when you're no longer following the rules. And
I'll put a little bit of a clip, but I don't think I can play that much.
Time to get angry and fight!
But yeah, he's like getting them to like be hyped up and be like, he's getting them all hyped up to be like individualistic kind of, and to like stick it back to authority.
Time to get angry and say, do you want it? No, get out of my way!
So as this is going on, Wems, he is all out of support. He's seeing his friends doing this, and his life is like practically flashing before his eyes because he thinks he's gonna lose them. And then there's some really cool effects as the genie, he like jumps up slow-mo and into the Deucer constructions, and he destroys them. So Wembley, he's really angry now. We don't see him get that angry all the time, but you know, this is his friends.
This has gone far enough. Someone's gonna get hurt.
And Wembley, he's also saying to the genie, he's like, you can't just do whatever you want if it's hurting others.
So he's just like, I wish you would stop this. And the genie replies,
Your wish is my command.
Yeah. What'd you say?
your wish is my command. And so Wembley is like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that's all I had to do this whole time is I just had to say the word wish? And so he's like, well, I wish you would explain.
All I had to do was stand up for myself?
Yes.
Explain yourself further. And the genie, he does confirm that really all he had to do was wish and kind of like stand up for himself, I suppose, by wishing.
I do feel like the message is a little bit loose, because is it really standing up for yourself if you're just wishing and hoping? You know, bullies don't always back down either when you're just kind of wishing for them to stop. But I guess in fairness, when you're a really big pushover like Wembley and a people pleaser, even just saying out loud what you wish and want is kind of sticking up for yourself. So I do see where they're coming from with that.
So Wembley, he stands up for himself one final time and for his friends, and he asks for them to all be released and for everything to just go back as normal. He wants his friends to be themselves again. And so Wembley has finally stood up to peer pressure against drugs and beer and rock and roll. And then Wembley, he even takes it a step further, and he's like, there's a difference between standing up for yourself and just doing whatever you want and harming others and basically just being an asshole. Being a jerk because you're so individualistic.
And the difference between standing up for yourself and just doing whatever you want to do.
And so basically, Wembley wishes for the genie to see the difference between that and also just see the nuance in that.
And the genie, he listens to this and he does apologize.
I wish now to apologize to any one of you whom I may have offended, scared.
But as I'm watching this, I'm like, is this really a genuine apology when the genie is basically bound to wishes and to do it? But no, I'm just being an asshole. I'm looking into it too much. It's fine. It's cute. It's funny. It's Halloween. It's cool. We'll keep it moving.
And he brings on the waterworks again. He's crying. And
Now I'll go back to my little, tiny, lonely bottle.
so Wembley, he wishes that the genie never has to go back into the bottle. And just like that, that ship has kind of sailed. The bottle is broken.
I wish you were free and never had to go back to that awful bottle again.
But anyways, the genie, he goes in to shake Wembley's hand.
Put it in, pal.
And he does it for real this time. And then in the workshop, Doc and Sprocky, Doc is finally listening to Sprocket, and he was like, good for you for sticking up for yourself.
You know, Sprocket, I gotta admit, you do know how to stand up for yourself. Huh?
But if Doc hadn't have been so rude in the first place, Sprocket wouldn't have had to. But it's fine. He even changes the sign so that Sprocky is now the star of the comedy show, and Doc is just like the talking circus animal or joke. And so that's really cute. And all is well again in Fraggle Rock and in the workshop. So yeah, I wasn't really sure what to pick for a Halloween episode, but the genie is green and he's got like purple on him, and there's fog and stuff and ghost sheets. So it's as simple as that in my head. Green, purple, that's Halloween. And it was a little spooky, the like sequence of them like doing the rock song and losing their autonomy or whatever. But yeah, really the whole thing also just comes across kind of as like a dare campaign, but that's fine. I wanted to keep it short, so maybe next year I will do another special with like the Terrible Tunnel, and there's a few other ones. So thank you so much to whoever has watched this. If you've watched the whole thing, I really, really appreciate it, and I hope it was a bit of fun. And happy Halloween.